I love roast chicken. I've spoken about it a million times. My mum used to cook delicious roast chicken for me as a kid. I certainly do it for my family. And if you do it for yours, there's something so special about the smell of the chicken roasting in the oven. Start with an RSPCA approved chicken. Then you get yourself a little bit of olive oil. I've got some thyme, some rosemary, a little lemon zest, and some salt. First of all, we'll chop up the herbs. So just pop your rosemary and your thyme, and I just chop through. It doesn't have to be super fine. And of course, I'm using my brand new knife from the Cook with Curtis line, exclusively available at Coles. Japanese steel, gets a really incredible blade. We use a process called ice hardening, which keeps that blade nice and sharp, and you will just love it if you pick one of these up. Okay, those herbs go into the olive oil. Then we throw in that lemon zest and a generous amount of salt. Next, we take some whole sprigs of rosemary and thyme. And what we do with that is we put it right in the center of the chicken. Next, what we do is we separate the skin from the meat of the breast. So just go down to the neck end of the chicken, opposite end of the legs, find that little hole, and then just insert your thumb and separate the skin and the meat from the chicken. This way, you create a little pocket that's going to actually allow that skin to get very, very crispy. You take that beautiful flavored olive oil and you just spoon it straight on in like that. You then just push it down all the way to the bottom of the crown. You can literally see the flavor underneath the skin of the chicken. Of course, the reason we do this is to add flavor to our roast chicken, but it also helps to give you that perfect crispy skin. Next, what I want you to do is tie those legs together. Grab yourself a piece of twine. You just get those legs, go around like that, and that'll just make it nice and uniform in shape, which of course will mean that the cooking is nice and even. Great. Grab your chicken, bring it straight on over to your 24-centimeter piece of gorgeous cookware. And what I like to do is brush it with just a little bit more olive oil on the outside of the skin. Now you'll notice I'm not using the one with the herbs in because they will burn, okay? Because we're going to cook this in a nice hot oven. It's going to get nice and crisp and golden brown, and the flavor of this baby will be unbelievable. You can sprinkle just a little more salt. It goes into the oven, 220 degrees for about 45 minutes to an hour. The smell, even the sound, and the look of this incredible roast chicken, it's going to taste phenomenal. Okay, two things going on. We have that wonderful roast chicken, but in the pan we also have this incredible juice. So I'm going to go ahead and lift my chicken up. A little bit of that juice run out. Then take those pan juices, because a little bit of the fat that will have rendered out of the chicken, some of that olive oil, go ahead and transfer that into a little saucepan. So I've got my fat in the pan, and then I've got my little bit of flour here. I combine those two things and I whisk it together. Whisk it around, you'll see it start to bubble or come to the boil, and then just continue to move that around as that color starts to develop and it starts to thicken up. You know you're getting pretty close to adding your stock in. Now, talking about adding your stock in, I'm actually going to switch pans here, because what I want to do is, you'll see all that color that's on the bottom of this pan, that's all flavor. So crank your heat, get it nice and hot, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to deglaze my pan with my stock, and that's going to lift all the flavor off the bottom of that pan. That, my friends, is going to end up in our gravy, and that's going to be pretty special. So you can see how it's come to the boil. That deglaze is happening. That release of all that flavor is coming up, which is exactly what you want. Let's go back to our other pan. It gets really nutty in its smell and will be in its flavor as well. So this, my friends, is the perfect color and thickening consistency. Take your stock and just slowly add it while you whisk. Now, of course, you can season this with whatever flavor you want. You could have used a little white wine or a little Madeira, a little port would be really nice. I'm just going to take a few chives and just add them in right now at the end. Give it a mix, and then you keep it warm. And just before you serve it, season it with some salt and some pepper. Lovely. Our chicken is resting and ready to go. Our sauce is perfect and ready to roll, so the last thing I want to do is make a quick dressing for the salad. So, into a glass bowl, you take a little mustard, some acid, so I'm using a little lemon juice, and a little sherry vinegar. Whisk those things together, and then just slowly drizzle in your extra virgin olive oil while you whisk. And that's a very simple mustard vinaigrette. Bring over your lettuces. You can use whatever's available, but I've got some wild rocket, I've got a little radicchio. Just tear those leaves up, pour my dressing over the top, give it a quick toss. Grab yourself a platter. I like just one of these little copper sauce boats, I think it's pretty cool. Pour your sauce in. So, I take some of my greens, pile them up, and then you can either carve the chicken or serve it whole and carve it at the table. Choice is yours. I'll go ahead, just go straight through that leg. Oh, it's so juicy and perfect. And then I remove the breast just by slicing straight right down the crown of the chicken. And you've got the perfect roast chicken, olive oil and herbs, and of course that divine gravy. It couldn't be simpler, but I tell you what, it couldn't be tastier either.